I believed all of that nonsense.
You can get enough protein from fruit. Okay, this is a video response to Unnatural Vegan and her video called, oh, in this video I actually do need to talk softly. This is not AMSR stuff. I lost my period for 1.5 years on a raw vegan diet. And that's basically a response to a lot of vegans who say the same thing. Raw vegans. Also, I want to mention, I'm going to get through this video without calling Swayze stupid. I'm instead going to focus on a couple of her viewers who said some stupid things in the comments. But back to Swayze for a minute. I've been wanting to do a video on this topic for a long time. We'll talk about periods for a minute or two and then move on to something else. Because it's really not about periods. And Swayze actually covered this in her video. Yep, I made it through the video. It wasn't not too bad, but if I can give Swayze one bit of advice, that's one wish from me, is that you stop chuckling under your words. It is fucking irritating. I notice she does it a lot, not just when she's trying to convey how stupid we are. And I was just called stupid somewhere else on the internet about an hour ago. This happens a lot. I don't know why. Well, I always thought it's just because of the internet, that's the way it is. But I get it a lot. I'd like to ask some other people out there who put things on the internet a lot, do you get called stupid regularly? I might appear stupid because of my personality. It's not that good, although it's getting better. But also because I think differently than most people. Certainly Swayze. I want to cover that too. Repeating what most people say, it makes you sound smart to all those people, but guess what? Most of humanity is stupid. And I want to point out that I'm not 100% raw vegan. I believe in it. See, most people believe only in the things that they're doing, but I'm using logic here. I've always been a believer in a 100% raw diet, and I have done it for 7 months straight with good effects. I don't actually promote eating that way, but I don't like people maligning that way of eating because there's nothing wrong with it except for living in society outside the tropics. It's hard to do simply because of the logistics of living in today's world. I needed to take a fruit break. Seriously. I work so much I forget to eat. I gotta eat enough before bedtime or I go to bed too late, which is another thing a lot of vegans do, is go to bed too late. I eat 17 fruits a day. Been doing it 23 years. So I'm plenty sick of this shit. Okay, I'm done with that. We can talk about periods again. There's one problem with this debate, is the words that we're using. There's a difference between periods and PMS. And I was surprised to see that's why he did cover the difference there. Yeah, I thought the video was going to be worse than it was. Some people say they lose their period when they just lost the PMS symptoms. And sometimes people mean just PMS when they say period. That happens. And yes, they shouldn't do that. And they should clarify it more. I find that one thing Freely is not good at is fully explaining things thoroughly. I'm not going to go watch her video because I don't watch her videos anymore. But maybe she does. And maybe that's why she's leaving the video up. One thing Swayze didn't cover right, I don't think, is that she seemed to equate bleeding with pain. But those are two different things. I've bled before where I didn't even know I was bleeding. I didn't know I was injured. There was no pain. I believe that the pain isn't necessary. Pain says there's something wrong. Pain is there to get you to pay attention to it. Swayze mentioned that hers was really painful. That's probably the reason she got into raw food, is because she's really unhealthy. You could tell by looking at her, she's so toxic. And she even said that she felt great on a raw food diet, as do most people once they've done detoxing. So why would you feel good eating a diet that's bad? She's basically still saying that a raw vegan diet is not healthy. but she never does say why exactly it's unhealthy. Yeah, people think that she's so scientific and reasonable, rational, logical. No, I am. But all that is just her personality. She's bluffing. She doesn't really say much. So in the comments below her video, someone had to ask, what is unhealthy about eating a raw vegan diet? What nutrients are missing? Oh yeah, Swayze did say, yeah, and I'm remembering now. She said malnutrition is what the heart of the problem is. So someone in the comments asked, what nutrients are missing? Guess what someone answered? Here's a screenshot of it. True, this is just some nobody. They're not speaking for Swayze that I know of, but this is a common answer. It's one you hear a lot, even from professionals. So I'll quickly go over this. Because I haven't spent my whole life in college getting textbook bullshit drilled into my head. I've been learning the truth, and the truth is panning out. You know, most of the world goes by the logic of Swayze, which I guess is why she's so popular. But most of the world is unhealthy, and they're getting more unhealthy. The thing's missing. Iron. Well, we also have to say, what makes a raw vegan diet different than cooked? It's because they are different foods. With a cooked diet, you can eat foods that you can't eat raw. A raw vegan diet is basically what you can eat is fruit, vegetables, which, by the way, have everything you need from a diet. There are nutrients you get from other places, which is what B12 is. It's not a dietary nutrient. You don't need it from your diet. You get it from bacteria. I can't believe I'm still saying this after it's 10 years in the online health community. You can eat bean sprouts. Yeah, you probably get more iron from beans than most fruits and vegetables. But there is plenty of iron. Not plenty, maybe. Not plenty. But there's enough. And Swayze did acknowledge that I really don't want to bring her up. It kind of ruins arguments. Look, Swayze said she felt better when she ate more food. Okay, more fruit, she actually said.
Now I was pretty small, was not sustainable. You know, funny enough, Freely was actually the one who really helped me regain my period.
Okay, then it's not the raw vegan diet that's the problem. It's that some people just aren't eating enough. Yeah, this is just a real common problem in the weight loss community. Women are already used to restricting how much they eat. They're used to small portions. So when they switch to fruit diet, they're still going to be eating the same portions, which is just not enough. When you're eating fruit, you have to get your body used to eating more volume. There was another comment in here I found that got 122 thumbs up, and it says, the claims made by raw foodists about periods is just to make themselves feel better about their poor diet. It's not a poor diet. They're not eating enough. The next thing, as you can see there, is protein. Oh. It sounds familiar. I don't know what to say anymore. I've heard that somewhere. I really am at a loss here. Actually, I'm thinking of so many things to say. I don't know which one to pick. Protein. And again, Swayze knocked the 80-10-10 diet, which basically is a 300-page book that documents that you can get enough protein from fruit. It's a protein myth. It's not based on science. It's a myth that happened in our culture. And I also wrote a book that proves the same thing in a much shorter read. It's only about $5. I got it set at $5. Go pick it up. It's really entertaining too. You don't pick it up, you download it. Really short and condensed in its entertainment value. I was talking with some man on the internet, but outside of our vegan community. And he was kind of interested in being a vegan, but he wasn't. and I got him to buy my book here. The next day he posted back that he's going vegan. The book is solid. Yeah, and it's actually not a vegan book, which is a smart thing to do. We want to reach the people who are open to eating a proper diet, and that happens to be vegan. You see, we should be promoting the idea that a vegan diet is where you start. It's not just one diet out there. We were never supposed to be anything else but vegan. And along that line of thinking, we are specifically meant to eat a high-fruit diet. And what I dislike most about what Swayze's doing is that people will get the impression that you shouldn't eat much raw food like fruit, when in fact that is the best way to sustain a diet. My experience with this topic goes back to when I first got into the YouTube raw food scene 7 years ago. And I was just looking up YouTube old videos to find some clips to show you from those days. And one of the stars of the community back then was Dr. Doug Graham. You may have heard some negative things about him, but there was a reason he was a star. He has a lot of great moments. I'm going to show you one now. And also, he's been eating a totally raw vegan diet for over 30 years now.
Not everybody has this experience of stop bleeding, but especially younger people tend to, cleaner bodies tend to, get to a point where they may be able to reduce or actually eliminate the hemorrhaging part, the menstruation, the bleeding part of the cycle. When I was in school, I was taught that this was normal by our anatomy teacher who knew nothing about raw foods. And she said, human beings are not really supposed to bleed, or if they do, very, very little. But they are supposed to ovulate. In the Russian raw movement, that I'm very concerned about because they're methodically undereating.
Oh yeah.
This very much concerns me. Methodical undereating is not a plan for success.
Yeah.
And I've met too many people who are eating far too little food, and their health is failing as a result. And yes, there's a lot of reasons why women will lose their period. You change your diet, you can lose your period. You change the caloric-nutrient ratio, how much fat, how much protein, how much carb, you can lose your period. You gain weight, you can lose your period. You lose weight, you can lose your period. Go under a lot of stress, you can lose your period. Start training athletically, you can lose your period. But I want to differentiate between stopping bleeding and stopping ovulating. In the women's female cycle, you bleed over here, you ovulate over here at opposite ends of the cycle, pretty much opposing to each other. Usually, on 80-10-10, reduce or eliminate hemorrhaging, but you're still ovulating. We're seeing lots of babies here being born on 80-10-10.
Sure.
No question. Lots of babies, lots of pregnant.
Babies ever.
Yeah, okay.
And when I think of this topic, I think of one of my favorite YouTubers from way back in the early days, 2008 to 2011. So I just looked up her more recent video about PMS. That was great to bring you to Reese D. Wolf.
But it took me 3 months to achieve a period that was completely pain-free. So that's quite a while. I would need to have painkillers. But if I could be in a dark room, usually with something across my eyes to stop any light, I could deal with it on my own. So just from being here for 2 weeks, doing the 2 meals a day, my cycle started yesterday morning, and it wasn't pain-free, but it was manageable, which is such a huge improvement to where I was.
Also, keep in mind, this video is 4 years ago, but 4 years before that, she made her first one. So aside from all the information we just heard, you notice a difference in the personalities? She is so refreshing, it's amazing. After the last few years we've seen in this community, she was universally liked, and her voice is not irritating. And notice that she's also not super skinny. Years have gone by and she does not have major health problems. She has gotten rid of some health problems. So have I. Most of humanity is stupid. Repeating what most people say, it makes you sound smart to all those people.
I now know that I did something incredibly stupid.
Which I guess is why she's so popular.